It's race 4 of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Series. We're in Winterberg in Germany on what is turning into a little bit of a snowy Saturday afternoon, getting into the second and deciding heat of the competition. From 21 sleds in heat 1, our sled count has been trimmed to 20. Martin Haven and John Morgan ready to see the action. And John, looks like we could have a very interesting podium if the first run is anything to go by.
Yeah, last week's silver medalist Cynthia Appiah, who continues to climb up this board of the top pilots in women's monobob. This athlete from Toronto posted the second best start, Martin, and she just keeps starting to get more experienced in the sport. She is a threat because of that start time. She's in a bronze medal position, and she's 1100ths back of Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana, who posted the best start time in the first run. Not so good in Altenburg last week, even though she won the first two events of the season in Innsbruck. She's in a medal position, silver medal, 600s back, and they're chasing down Brianna Walker of Australia. She's medaled once on tour. Last week she didn't compete in Altenburg. She came up here, competed on the Europa Cup to get half points. She won the event here last week. And Martin, this young athlete from Australia, she's gaining lots of confidence.
Yeah, she absolutely is. And having that win here on this track, she's got a little bit of a head start on her rivals. She had a great start, broke the track record. Alana Myers-Taylor, Cynthia Appiah giving chase. Lauren Alton not out of the hunt for medals either. Najesta Sergeva 4 tenths away might be too much of a stretch unless there's a little bit of drama. But look how close the grouping is behind. Some very, very tight battles up and coming all the way down our top 20. Even 19th and 20th, Lubov Chernik and Martina Fontenev are just 100th apart. And the 17-year-old rookie, Emma Brumern from Norway, first Norwegian female bobsledder I've ever seen, and I believe, John, the same for you. 17 years old, self-funded, has brought herself and her sled here, and a great introduction to World Cup racing for her. Well, it was a little snowy just at the beginning of the first heat, and looks as though Kaylee Humphries inherited the Stephen Holcomb tradition of getting the worst of the weather. That definitely didn't help her, but it is clearer now for our second heat, and with track records already being set, might even go quicker in the second heat. As the afternoon progresses, the temperature will drop already just after 4 p.m. local time, so the sun's going down. There's a great look at these Ixent monobobs, all identical, built by a high-tech company in Bavaria, and all of the athletes have access to the same equipment. It's what you do with it, how you use it, how you set it up, how you start, how you drive, that makes the whole thing so interesting as everybody struggles to get to grips with monobob in a run into the first ever Olympic Games for these single-seater sleds. Race 4 of the BMW IBSF Monobob World Series. Martina Fontenev of Switzerland, 20th in the first heat, is first off, chasing the sled in front that was just 100th quicker. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action with you. And John, Martina's nemesis is her start.
Yeah, she's also the oldest athlete in the field at 35. She's an interior architect, construction manager from Zurich. And Martin, she won't be in the back of the field when we get to St. Moritz a month from today. We'll be there in the beautiful Engadin Valley competing, but she gives up all this time at the start, and on this short 1,250-meter track, it's not a good strategy.
John, as an American, hang your head in shame. She's not the oldest athlete. Kaylee Humphries and Alana Myers-Taylor are both older than Martina, or more experienced, I think we would probably prefer to say.
Martin, I was trying to say the oldest European athlete.
There you go. Well, nice looking lines. I mean, these monobobs, I thought were going to be all over the place after we saw the four-man this morning, but they're getting them down a lot neater and tidier. 59.62, nearly 2 tenths quicker, yeah.
Yeah, but she went late. She went 20th. Now she's going first. She's got much better. She knows it's a better run. I don't know, though. She's going to move up. She's got a 500s, 600s with the 5 sleds in front of her, so she's got a chance.
Yeah, it's a tight battle, isn't it?
The lines, curve 10. Look at the Darth Vader visor. Then down here on the bottom, how much violence on the right. Not too bad, Martin. We'll keep our eyes open. We've seen some sleds hit very hard there and lose a lot of time. She's the leader.
Martina, yeah, she could be in the leader's box a while. As you say, the next 4 sleds are covered by just 0.06 of a second. So Lubov-Chernik, 1/100th is her advantage after the first heat. While Martina is 28th in the overall points, Lubov is 23rd. She's just had a smidgen better season, 16th, 15th and 16th her 3 races. So this is a little bit below par here in Winterberg, but again, only the 15th fastest starter.
Martin, 26 years old. She started in skeleton. Transferred over here to women's mono and 2-person sliding. It has a little bit better start than Fontenev. Fontenev's got a lot more experience driving than she does. And 700s in the bank, 800s, so she's only 800s up. I'm favoring the Swiss athlete at the bottom here, unless this goes out to 15.
When Lubov-Chernik started in skeleton, I guess Alana Nikitina was starting at the same time, and she probably looked at the way Alana was starting and went, okay, do you know what? I'm going to knock that on the head. Top speed,
she's holding on.
9.2. Yeah.
Only 200s back. Good lines here. She could stay atop of the leaderboard. She can't hit hard here coming out of this curve right here. And she doesn't. Dead heat to the 100th. Close your eyes. Either way, Martin. 100th either way.
Going to be very close. 600's back. Martina picks one off. Well, speed's down at the bottom. 76.7 miles an hour in the finish curve. On sheet ice with no brakes. Well, not that you use on the track anyway.
Look at that.
It's a high-speed discipline.
Watch her technique, getting in the sled. Arms together, up, grabs the D-ring. Look at the drive lines. See, before you get out of the drive lines, you want to be settled in there. And now she's leaning herself on the bottom part of the track in the big right-hand curve 10.
So Martina Fontenev remains in the leader's box as we get to the sled that was 18th fastest. Margot Bock raced here last week in Europa Cup, her first ever bobsleigh medal. She took the bronze in the Monobob Europa Cup race. So you can imagine that she is slightly on cloud 9 after last weekend.
Sure, her friends, 22 years old, she's from La Plagne. I'm sure everybody back in La Plagne was loving that result. 6'10".
And of course, they were also racing women's bob here, so the whole crew was here, the whole team to celebrate with her.
Well, she's got some time right here to play with, Martin. Only 500s out. She should have been farther out than that, and she just made huge mistake up where the speeds are slow, and the mistakes are like 3 times penalties up there. Now she's in red numbers. Another skid between the 7 and 8 or 6 and 7 in the Kreisel. I don't know, Martin. She's going to fall back at least 1, looks like, maybe 2.
Well, less speed than Fontenev or Lubov-Chernik right now. Chernik's only 600s back. Gap's already back a 10th. Yeah. 1300s. Yeah, rocky at the bottom. Speed there 76.3 miles an hour, and across the line 2200s back.
So Martina's getting something out of the weekend. She doesn't like it. Well, the mistake up there between 5 and 6. Also the mistake up before curve 4. Speeds are slow.
Sitting really forward in the sled. Most of the athletes now are much further towards the midpoint.
Look at the skid she's got there. And that's, you know, where it's almost flat, Martin, right there. You make that mistake there, and then here on the bottom, quite a bit of violence into the right-hand wall. And then you go into this finish curve going uphill. So, you know, Mother Nature, gravity sport.
It really gets bounced around by the cowl there, doesn't it? So Martina Fontenev leads after our first 3 sleds. Next up, Anastasia Makarova, 0.05 of a second in front of Fontenev from the first heat. So can the Russian cling on to that tiny advantage here? She starts just a whisker quicker than Martina.
Technique. Boy, she jumps right in. A lot of confidence.
I'm loving that.
Yeah, best velocity, second best speed. That power step into the sled. I like that. Obviously,
it's high risk, high reward. When it works well, I think it works really well. If she gets it wrong, then she's going to be in all sorts of trouble.
1400. She grows that up to 16 or 17, Martin. This will probably be the leader down below. Doesn't, loses back, which means game on now with Martina Fontenev at the bottom. Second best speed to Fontenev. Well, she's holding it. So this, unless she does something bad down here in 10, Martin, this will be the leader. There's still one more gremlin on this track. It's right here. She's through it.
1200 should be enough to take the lead. And it is.
Can't match Martina's time, but the Swiss coach congratulating the Russian coach.
Well, the time exactly the same as Fontenev. She had 500s in the bank. She wins that battle by 500ths of a second.
That was a battle, those 5 sleds.
Yeah, it really was. And we're not done yet. Long drifting skid there. Again, see how far back she's sitting? That helps with the balance of the sled.
10. Rudder tips. Looks like she got a little late there. Crashed hard into the wall here. It's one of the more violent hits we've seen so far. But that's where she went from 12 to 5, Martin. That hit right there didn't help matters.
Almost sitting on the rear axle. She looks like she's so far back. Some kind of top fuel rail. Next up, Wai Ming Ming, 100th ahead of Anastasia Makarova. She was only 600ths ahead of Martina Fontenev, who's currently in second place. So, again, if she hangs on, she'll maintain a top 16 finish. If she doesn't, she could plunge 2 or 3 down the order.
Good start, Martin. That's what we commented about her in the first heat. She's 26 years old. She's a sprinter, and she's showing. She's got a good track and field background, and just a matter of time before the Chinese become good at these sports. Ooh, this big mistake there, Martin. Up there, 3 to 4. Only 400s up.
Yeah. Speed's not great. She'll be in the red after the Kreisel.
Yeah, could be red here.
Yep.
There it is.
Still 4th best speed.
She can still
not even 90 kilometers.
Perfect line. Don't change direction. Don't hit the wall hard there.
She's coming back. Close. Second best speed. We've had some dead heats already. No, 300s back.
Second best. Pierre. Yeah, Pierre. How many times did you win or lose on this track, Pierre? By 100 or 200s. Pierre Lueders did well on this track in his career. Of course, he had that German background, so he'd speak German with all the people. They loved him here in Winterberg.
Yeah.
Look at the she got too much at the end of that curve. That causes that skid. That's the difference right there, Martin, in the bottom. That mistake. Yeah. This isn't too bad here. You can make mistakes like this down here where the speeds are 75 or 72 miles an hour, but you make them up top when the speeds are 25 miles an hour. Yeah. It's a lot more taxing.
They really hurt. They really do. So, Anastasia Makarova of Russia moves up 1. She is our leader with 15 sleds still to come. Katy Bile of Austria, last year's World Cup champion in women's bobsleigh, in a tie for 14th place, one of 2 dead heats in our 20 sleds in the first run. Katy Bile and Melanie Hassler of Switzerland were tied to the 100th. 6:07 getaway, just a fraction slower than her first. She has 800s in hand after the first heat, 900s over Anastasia Makarova. She'll do well to hang on to that.
900, she's growing that lead. Now, this is last year's World Cup season winner of 2-person sledding, and just hasn't had any good results this year.
Now she's building the advantage. Best speed of all as well.
she should have the best speed, Martin. She's one of the most accomplished pilots in the field, and she's doing what we'd expect her to do. She shouldn't be back here in 12th or 14th place. She should be up there in the top 10. And she's going to post the best time of the run and get in the leader's box and hope to hang on for a few more. Ducks her head
across the line. Okay, 59.50. That's a top 10 run so far. That is the 10th fastest trip down the track. So better from Katy Bile, possibly better from the ice conditions as well. She was 17th in the first heat, so didn't have the best of the conditions.
Again, she's one of the better pilots in the field. How can you fault any of this? Well, there's a skid, though. That's going into Kreisel. That's costly. So easy to sit up here and judge, you know, where these athletes have to be so meticulous.
Well, those tiny errors all add up. Got in a little high. So that leaves the door open potentially for Swiss slider Melanie Hassler. She was 9th out of the start shed. 12th best start, 400s quicker than Katy Bile, but couldn't keep that advantage all the way down the track.
This young lady here, Martin, this lady here was 2nd at the Olympic test in Ying Ching in October, so that surprised a lot of people. Hasn't done so well since.
Skid out of the drive lines and a bit
still has the best
corner zero.
You know, you always look at the athletic backgrounds of these athletes in the sleds. This one, Martin, is a little different. She comes from beach and indoor volleyball. I think she's probably the only volleyball recruit that we have in the field. 23 years old, and the Swiss are pretty high on her, as they should be.
Nice lines. She's got good hands and eyes, John.
Yeah, she's pulling away. Best speeds, 1800s. This is the better run that she had in the first heat. Pretty sloppy in the first run, Martin. So she's going to be the leader. The question is this good enough to let her move out?
Well, it should be. If she was 1800s quicker in the first heat, she'd have been in the top 10. 59.36. Okay, so that is the 9th best run. Yeah, 9th best run in the competition. Well, she had an epic weekend in St. Moritz last year, claimed a bronze medal in women's bobsleigh, and to do it in Switzerland, a track that she knows little better than anybody else, because of course they don't get pre-season training there, was just a huge boost for her.
Good stride, good athlete, you can tell just by her gait. In with a little skid, she might have run too far there, Martin.
Yeah.
That cost her. That costs, you know, those drive lines end, you got to be in and settled. She wasn't.
She handled it well, though, in the zero curve, kept the speed up.
70+ miles an hour down here. Yeah. Into the 10-11 combination. Having fun.
Always. So, Melanie Hassler leads 13th in the first heat with an advantage of 0.08 of a second over the Swiss slider, the top Chinese in this race, Ying Ching. So Ying, 24 years old, 29th in the World Cup points. Her teammate Wai Mingming in the Monobob World Series points. Her teammate Wai Mingming, 18th in points, has definitely had the better of the season so far. And this is a chance for Ying Ching to fight back.
Martin, again, she's 24, like you said. She's from Shanghai, and she's a hurdler of a track and field athlete. And she's got a little time to play with here, but not much. 500s. She better keep it at 5 or get it out to 6 or 7 here, or she will be challenged down below. A little drift there. See if that cost her. 200s. It did. That's going to cost her that drift there, although she's got great speed here into the Kreisel.
Yeah. This could be close, couldn't it? Could be right to the 100th of a second. She's got the best speed so far.
She's got the best speed. Martin, we've seen her now. This is the 4th weekend we've seen her.
Yeah.
She continues to impress. Looks like she's got it figured out.
Yeah. 500s. That should be enough. Fastest sled at the bottom wasn't Melanie Hassler, it was Katy Bile. 700s, she goes away.
That's a quick run.
100th quicker than Hassler, plus her advantage from the first heat. Gives her a 100 slower than Hassler, rather. Gives her a 0.07 of a second lead. But critically for her, teammate Wai Ming is 4 spots further back. Is only 5th at the moment. So she's going to close in the rankings.
This is up top where the speeds are so slow. And she has a little drift there. Down here in 10. You couldn't fault much down here, Martin. She, you know, for first time we've really seen her, didn't see her last year.
Yep.
She's impressive.
Yeah, first full World Cup season for Ying Ching. Her best result so far was 11th last week. Is she going to get close to that? 12 sleds go. Ying Ching of China is the leader. Andrea Grecu up next. 400s. This is another hugely tight group of sleds. She's only 300s behind Kaylee Humphries. So even keeping your position, John, in this race is going to be pretty challenging. Yeah.
27 years old. She's from Bucharest. She's a sports therapist. Tallest, I mean, her and Cynthia Appy, I think, are the 2 tallest female athletes piloting these sleds today. Over there in that race. 12th in that race in Ying Ching.
She's nearly doubled her first heat advantage, which was only 400. She has now doubled it, but the speed's not great. And this is where it all went downhill for her. She was not fast in the Kreisel or below. The speed is dropping away.
Worse. Still holding the 5, though. That's a good sign. But she's got to be. Ooh, that's a mistake. Got tapped over to the middle of this curve. That's going to cause a lot of steering. See if it costs her down to 4. She's hanging in there.
Dead heat. 6 best speed. Going to be very close. 200s.
You see her duck her head at the end, Martin. That's some confidence. There's Paul Niegu. I mean, this is his home track. Puts up Romanian camp here. Paul Niegu. I mean, he's been around for a generation plus.
And he and his son have a physio outfit in town as well. Sees an awful lot of athletes when the sleds are in town.
Well, exit of the curve here looked a little late. That caused, well, I can't say. There, look at this. Taps the right-hand wall. Then she drifts to the left side of the screen. The next curve here, 10. That means she's got to steer hard. That's where you can prevent yourself from accelerating. When you steer, it's like putting brakes on.
Andrea Grecu of Romania leads with 11 sleds to go, and this is unexpected territory for Kaylee Humphries, our winner last week. What a week she had last week. But well, she didn't. 598, 8th best start, John, and she's only 11th, so she may have had the worst of the weather.
Martin, I looked at the speed. She had the 17th best speed down the track. Now, this is the cleanest speed. We saw that at Untitled last week and at the World Championships last year. Something happened to Kaylee Humphries, or she's got a set of runners on that they're testing, but she should not be back in this part of the field.
Yeah, something about what they've done with the sled or how they've set it up for
no
here.
Speed here either. Yeah, this is
100 behind. This could be very close. Again, look how far Kaylee's sitting back in the sled, working differently every weekend with this.
I don't like this. Don't understand why she's back like this, Martin. Very,
two spots. Might drop behind Melanie Hassler. This might be 4th at the line, 3rd at the line, 300s back.
Drops 2 spots.
Yeah.
She drops behind the Chinese.
Yeah.
Ying from China beats her by 100. So Kaylee, I have no idea what went on today. Oh, really?
Yeah. She's not thrilled.
No. That tap there, but that shouldn't have. Yeah, that's a quite a mistake, but she should be a top 6 or 7, not 12th. I can't figure that out. I'm sure the coaches are shaking their heads. Maybe in those things, the runners
Yeah, something somewhere didn't work the way it should have done for Kaylee Humphries. She lies third with 10 to go. Andrea Grecu is our leader. Well, every day's a school day, they say in bobsleigh, and Kaylee Humphries may not have earned any medals today, but she will certainly have learned some lessons. So, John, you know, it's not the Olympics yet, but the Olympics is very close. We have 4 more World Series races after this. We're halfway through the cycle today, so everything you learn could make the difference between being on the top of the podium and not.
So is it the top 3 nations or top 4 nations get 2 sleds, Martin?
I'm going to have to look back. I haven't got it written down on a piece of paper, which
Angela
would be
or
a
somebody
sensible
could tell
thing
us
to have
that
written
rule.
down. Well, Anne van Nieuwenhuis told me, I've got to look back in my WhatsApp.
And it's so confusing because of all the points coming in from the America's Cup or North America's Cup and Europa Cup. And
well, right now, the only outliers in the top, or the only outlier in the top 10 that's not done all the World Cup races is Karin Slepper, who's 9th in the points, courtesy of 2 silver medals in Lillehammer. And then 13th, Alicia Rissling, has won all 5 North America's Cup encounters. So she is well ahead of most of our field. She's ahead of Mariama Yamanka, Stephanie Schneider as well. I mean, if she hadn't been injured pre-season, she might well have been in the German lineup for the World Cup, but she's killing it in the Europa Cup races. So
there's no doubt the Germans and Canadians are going to have at least 2 sleds, if it's 2, in the field. Question is, what country? The third country.
Well,
I would think the Americans are there too. Top 4?
Top 4 nations, Anne van Nieuwenhuis says. So you would think USA, Canada, Germany, Russia? Yeah. Because the Chinese don't count. Winterberg, Germany, race 4 of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Series. Karin Slepper, a double silver medalist in Lillehammer in Europa Cup racing. She was racing here last week as well. And the Dutch slider with a really good first heat run to be in 10th place, but only 900ths ahead of Andrea Grecu, the current leader.
She's another track and field athlete, though, from the field side. She was a javelin thrower, 29 years old. She's born in F. I mean, the Dutch guys in the truck are laughing. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. E-P-E.
Well, they're never quite sure whether it's Holland, the Netherlands, or, you know, there are all different reasons why the country has the name it does, depending on which reason you choose. However, she's in the green, and that's what they're going to be interested in right now. Yeah.
Best speeds. She's been impressive, Martin. She's only doing... Oh, that's a big mistake there. Watch out. She can't overcorrect here. This next curve, we'll see if she did. She hit hard.
Still
not bad.
green.
Only 200. I don't know, Martin.
Not bad speed.
Too close.
Well, Grecu had the same. She ducks her head out of sight. There you go.
They got to show us ducking of the head. That is brave. And Martin, don't think that's not worth a couple hundreds.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
70 miles an hour.
Absolutely. She did it in the first heat.
Great.
It was worthwhile. That's a top 10 guaranteed. Yeah, that's a big, big tick in the box to try and get qualified to go to the games in Monobob. As you say, she's not doing a 2-seater bob.
This is up in the exit of Kreisel. This is down 9 to 10. This is the big mistake there. That really cost her, but what's her ducking her head? Who's driving? Now that, you have to be confident to do that at 70 miles an hour.
Well, no victory roll for Karin Slepper. We see a lot of sleds rolling out of the final corner as they hang it out there for speed and don't steer, but she's guaranteed a top 10 result. And there might be more to come because she was only 600s between a dead heat for 8th rather. Kim Kalicki, 10th best start, 8th at the bottom, 600s advantage over Karin Slepper. Well, she knows how to drive this track, there's no question. By the way, good shout from Ken Childs, suggesting that maybe Australia might get 2 sleds. Look at the way that Ashley Werner and Brianna Walker are racing this year.
The Russians, could be. Christina De Bruyne in a dead heat with Karin Slepper down here. This University of Calgary track and field athlete. has had a great season in the two-person competitions. Hasn't medaled yet in women's monobob because she doesn't get the great starts. Does better in the two-person sled.
Kalicki a 10th up, but the gap is coming down, John. 8th best speed in the Kreisel. That's maybe not enough.
But if she gets through here 9 without a mistake, remember, the Dutch athlete had a big mistake here, right here, on this exit of this curve here. Let's see what, yeah, she's perfect. So she should grow that lead with that drive line.
She's going to need to. Only 300s.
Yeah, she's growing that lead. She had a much better 9 to 10. Yeah, she had much better 9 to 10. She ducks her head. It must be a
100th is 100th. She was in a dead heat.
Yeah. Well,
and you know what Reddy Spies said? Reddy Spies probably said to her, if you ducked your head, you wouldn't be tied for 8th. You'd be ahead of her. Yeah. I don't want to crash. It doesn't matter. By the time you land, you've crossed the finish line here in Winterberg. If you roll off the final corner, it doesn't damage you. Well, doesn't damage the time anyway.
Yeah, I was saying this was De Bruyn. I was totally wrong on that sled. I apologize. Was she tied? Yeah, De Bruyn and Kalicki were tied. I got confused there. Look at the duck now. That's a
there
trait.
You go. And Van Nieuwenhuis started that trend. Every 100th counts, especially when you're in a dead heat, and especially when you're only 600s ahead of the previous sled. So Kim Kalicki leads. Is Christine De Bruyn going to be ducking her head? Victory rolling out of the final corner, or what? 12th best start. She'll give away maybe 100th or 2 to Kalicki in the start, but that's manageable.
This is our University of Calgary athlete, like I mentioned in the previous sled, and who's been so successful in the two-person sled. And, you know, good lines here, Martin. I mean, she's in a dead heat. And the start, well, they have the exact same starts. In the first heat, they were separated by 100th at the start, so there's a lot of similarity between Kalicki at the bottom and De Bruyn here. And she's 500ths lead. That's all driving right there. 5th best speed, though, but that's from the best, the sleds who went early, have that best speed.
Yeah, Kalicki was quick at the bottom, though. 8th best speed, the gap's coming all right down.
Oh, that's late, trouble there. That's going to be costly.
Cleaner.
Yeah, red numbers. 200
Christine's going to have to hang it off the final corner. Speed's not there. 123.8 for Kalicki, and she goes behind by 900ths. So Kim Kalicki stays 8th. Christine De Bruyn slips to 9th place.
She's medaled in every two-person sled race, Martin. She hasn't got near the podium yet, but she was 4th in the Ying Ching China event, so you know, she's not as proficient in the monobob as the two-person sled. This was the big mistake. Now watch her go to the little late here, and watch her come over to the right side of our screen here. Tap. That goes down in the middle of the curve. The next curve, 10, she's got to steer real hard here to get back on line. That's where she went from close to being 900ths behind at the bottom.
Yep. Just to confirm, at the moment, Germany, Canada, USA, and Russia are the 4 nations who will have 2 monobobs. Another dozen nations get 1. So Mariama Yamanka for Germany. The chances are she will go in women's bob as the defending Olympic champion. However, will she also race for the monobob gold medal? Well, right now, she's just got to get herself sorted out in this one. 7th place after the first of our 2 heats, and this is one of the better performances we've seen from Mariama in the monobob sleds.
Well, Mark, there was no television of the event in Ying Ching, China. We didn't see it. She won the race in China in monobob. Since then, though, she hasn't even sniffed the podium.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a downbeat season. 11th, 16th, and 13th.
600.
It's a long way better.
Best speed.
A long way better. Yeah.
But he's going to be exit of the pivotal part of the track, 9-10. We just saw the mistake that De Bruyn made. Let's watch here in 9. Does she get out of here clean? Yes.
Well, Melissa Lottholz was only 100th quicker as well, so this is not just holding her place ahead of Kanicki, it's a chance to move up.
Beautiful.
But the gap is tiny.
Great lines.
Best speed, same as Catty Bile. And across the line, she is the leader, and she might have a chance to move up another spot. Either way, it is the best monobob result, I think, at all that she has produced. Certainly the best this season. Previously 11th in Innsbruck race 1.
Well, she was about a 25-1 to win the gold in Korea for the two-person sled. She had never medaled in any previous World Cup, I don't think, and she won the gold medal, which was shocking. It was her first
bobsleigh win, the Olympic gold.
Maybe
well, if you're going to win one, win a big one.
Yeah, she did.
Of course,
she won the one
people. She won the one that counts, but it didn't stop people asking when you're going to win a World Cup race. Well, then she discovered how to win World Cup races too. So, but the monobob may be the same deal, just a little bit behind. So Melissa Lottholz of Canada, top 6 run in the first heat. It was a little sloppy down the bottom. She only had 100th over Mariami Amanka, despite starting a 10th quicker.
29 years old, former brakeman, successful brakeman for Kaylee Humphries when Kaylee Humphries was in Canada. And, you know, she started to get in the front seat a couple years ago. Track and field athlete, sprinter. Big lead, Martin. This is her placing to lose. On this track, you got 1400s, but little minute, you know, mistakes right up here can do it, throw it away. 14 to 14, fourth best speed. That should come down probably to 11 or 12.
Well, she's clean at the top. It was lower down. It was below curve 9 coming up now,
13.
where
that's
it
a good
all
sign.
kind of came
right here.
unstitched. Nice
Perfect.
exit. Clean in
Good
11.
lines. How much
Great
violence
exit.
here? Exit of the curve here. Nice.
Here we go.
This is the leader.
She's going to hold on. Oh, the speed, though, she's had to work hard for. It's not going to be by much, but it is a top 6.
Yeah, that speed, Martin, we can't trust that speed track down below because all those teams with the best speed were the sleds that went early when the track was spritzed up.
Yeah. So Melissa Lottholz, top 6 finish. She ought to like it. What's not to like? 5th, 11th, 18th in Altenburg after that crash. Bounces right back. Top 6 guaranteed.
Good drive, especially down here. Look at her eyes barely above the cowling.
Still sits a long way forward, chin right by the cowl. A lot of the other athletes are moving further back in the sled. They may end up trying that, but in these sleds, maybe what the athlete feels best with is what is actually best for it. Melissa Lottholz leads, 5 to go. Anastasia Makarova won the first Women's Monobob World Series race last year here in Winterberg. She lies in 5th position, one of the fastest starting drivers in the field, with a 5:87 getaway. Only 3 went quicker, and they are our top 3 in the top half dozen sleds. Only Lara Nolte was not a top 6 starter, and again, I love the way she just vaults straight in to the saddle.
Heptathlete, 34 years old, from Sochi. She lists her job as, my job is athletics. I think she's military, though, too, like everybody in the Russian program. This is a big heat for her, Martin.
Drive a sled, yeah, and this is about really getting ahead in the right place.
Not good. 700, she was up 13. Not good.
Nudged away.
Has to be perfect, rest of the way. Stay in green. 4. Perfect here, no chance. That's great.
Melissa Lottholz is holding her breath. This could go the Canadians' way.
Nice.
400s.
Really good. She should do it now, Martin. Good drive lines.
Clinging on by her fingernails and across the line by 7.
Hey, there's some good driving on the bottom, Martin. She was losing time up top.
Yep.
And she delivered. She got beat at the she had the best start of the competition so far. Her start time's really improved, Martin.
Well, she has beaten Melissa Lottholz away from the start, and Lottholz was a multiple record holder in Canadian push championships for brake women. Look at this, again, the vault straight in. Yeah.
Look at the drive lines now. So you want to be settled those drive lines. When they end, you don't want to be skidding there. She was perfect. And then down here, speeds 74 miles an hour. Exit of the big curve, 10. She likes it. She knows it. Is this her best finish of the season, I think, Martin?
Yes, it is. She was 5th in Altenburg last week. She will be no worse than 5th here. What about Lara Nolte? Can she make it onto the podium? 1900s ahead of Sergeva, but only 300s out of the medals. 2/10 away from gold. It's all achievable for Nolte.
Decent start. Good exit. Little tap there, not too bad. Martin, this is the 2nd in World Cup points, Lara Nolte in women's monobob. 1400s up means she's accelerating away. This has been the best German pilot in both disciplines so far this season. Martin, she is really flying. 2300s up.
Yeah. And look how far back she is in the sled. You can almost see her knees. She's sitting so far back to get the feel on the back runners that she wants.
Whoa, but she's late there. She snuck through there without tapping, I think. Let's see how hard she hits out of this curve.
This is her shooting for the medals. 2800s. Hang on a minute. Are we in track record territory? We are in track record territory. No, 59.20.
Martin, that curve down there, 12 to 13, she didn't steer. And she didn't hit the wall. That was one of the most different lines.
She's
can't
not happy
steer
with
herself.
No, there was more to come.
This is a little tap.
Knocked away here.
9. Now she sneaks through here, I think. She sneaks through. What's the right side? Does she tap here? Yeah, a little bit. Not much, but that's enough. Watch this, though.
Yeah.
Everybody else is hitting the wall. She doesn't steer off that curve, and she comes over nowhere near the wall.
Yeah, look at the way the runner digs into the ice, though. Right, she leads with 3 to go. Will Lara Nolte be in the medals? Will Cynthia Appia, silver medalist last week, will she be in the medals? 31-year-old former brakewoman, 4th, 5th, and 2nd. She's not exactly had a poor season in women's monobob, has she?
She just exudes so much confidence, Martin. That medal last week, her first medal.
And the key thing for a young driver, she talks about it with the social media team, is getting that head focus, calming herself down. Just do one good run. That's all it's about. Just one good run. And it's so easy to say, but to get that in your head is quite something when you're a young star trying to make your way up.
Track and field athlete, hammer thrower, shot putter. Used to work for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now she's a bobsled pilot who's got some awesome talent, and especially in that first 50 meters. That's where she's winning these, getting herself atop the leaderboard, Martin, with her awesome athleticism. Now she's got 200 more meters to put herself on the podium again, and she's going to do it.
Yeah. Still 2200s up. She's lost nothing to Lara Nolte out of 11. Here we go.
One more spot. Watch out. Oh, she's got
1900s. She'll lead. Not the best speed, but she will be in the medals for the 2nd week in a row.
Wow, look how much time she lost on the bottom there.
Well, you saw that exit off 13, but she knows she's in the medals. That'll do. That'll do.
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row. Let's listen.
Well, I think cool calm goes out the window as soon as you see that single finger being held up by the coach, and you know you're in the medals.
Watch these lines here, the little tap on the left side. That throws her down in the middle of this curve, so she's got to steer hard there. But Martin, she's probably the least experienced pilot in the field. But with the start, look at this. She drove off there hard. She went from 2200s up to 500s up in the finish right there. Look at that line. That shows you how much time you can lose down here.
Everybody, love you for watching. Thank you.
All right, 2 to go. Alana Myers-Taylor is the first of them. 600ths off the lead of this race. A 2-time winner already this season. And she has an 1100ths of a second lead over our current leader, Cynthia Appiah.
Look at that different
As
start
ever with
technique.
Alana. Yeah.
Everybody, she's got the different start technique than anybody else. She had the fastest time in the first heat, 5:78, and she ties it. That was a start record in the first heat. So now it's up to the driver, because we've seen, you know, there's some gremlins on this track that can eliminate your green numbers quickly. Not so well
17.
last week in the Monobob event in Altenburg. Ooh, skitty.
And she should
Roll that
that
17.
This is the track she's got a little more second best speed. Really good from Alana Myers-Taylor. Shooting for gold.
Watch out here.
Third
She's got
time
to
this
sneak out of here
season.
and hit the right-hand wall. She doesn't.
Best
One
speed of
more
all.
spot. One more spot.
Quicker than
Right there.
anybody else. 2800ths. Is this
It's
going
a
to be
good
track
run.
record? No, it
Track
is a new
record.
track record. So she ties her own start record and comes down with a track record. That is how you throw down the gauntlet to the last person who comes down the ice.
You know,
Well, if
Mark,
that's
she's
not good enough for
dominated.
gold, it is going to need another track record, John, pretty much to win it.
Fantastic athlete, and the only athlete in the field who's a mother.
Yeah.
And to start the, you know, she's got the track record at the start, track record at the bottom. She posted the time, got into the leader's box, and just told Brianna Walker, catch me if you can. Boy, good drive. You know, sometimes there's some criticism about Alana's driving. Not on this day.
Not too many days. So Brianna Walker, well, the pressure for the Aussie, a winner here last week in Europa Cup. And she has been one of our benchmarks in women's monobob, 7th in the overall points rankings. And this is a chance for her first World Cup gold medal of the season. 5:82 getaway, only 100 slower than her
hard.
best.
That wasn't, it was a good velocity. That's going to be a race. There's red numbers pretty quick because of that skid. But Mark, she drove great in the first run. Only
Yes, she
100
did.
back. This is all doable.
Fastest of all, she had 600s over Alana, but she's going to need, again, to break the track record pretty much to win this, but she's coming back.
Tap there. That's still pretty good speed.
Yeah.
No mistake down here in 9, though, Mark. She's going to have to be perfect between 9 and 10. Oh, there's a late there. See what she
Yeah,
does
a
between 9 and
whisker
10.
slower as well. Alana was fastest there. 13 will decide it. Clean crossover really needed here.
This is still a silver medal, though.
It
Still
will
a
be a
silver
medal.
medal.
But Alana Myers-Taylor wins it. Brianna Walker takes the silver medal, but it required 2 records in one run from Alana Myers-Taylor to take the gold. Brianna Walker, a winner last week, and a silver medal in the Monobob World Series in the World Cup race today. And that is going to help her World Cup rankings, or her World Series rankings, no end.
Mark, she's going to move up into the top 3, if not 2.
Yep.
She was 6'11", 3'7". I'm doing the math. No, she'll move up to. No, she might not catch Kaylee. She's right in the bubble between her and Kaylee. Of course, Kaylee just finished like 12th. So the mistake up top between 1 and 2. Otherwise, Brianna Walker from down under. She's not from Austria. She's from Australia. Which this is why I love Monobob. Small nations.
Yep.
Single athlete, come get involved, control your own destiny.
Absolutely right. So silver medal for Brianna Walker, gold for Alana Myers-Taylor, ties her own start record, sets a brand new track record. What was it this morning? It was a 59.52. It is now a 58.88. So over 0.6 of a second.
64 hundredths.
Well, the
So
women
2 of
have
the
been
3
murdering the track record today, and yesterday it was half a second quicker at the end of the women's skeleton and over 6600ths faster at the end of the women's monobob. So they are absolutely murdering the track records in the afternoons here.
Mark, 3 of the 4 disciplines we broke the track record. Only in 4-man bobsleigh this morning we didn't break the track record, but the 4-mans have a chance tomorrow.
Yes, they do. And if it's a little overcast and not too sunny and the ice is hard and fast, who knows? We're going to race in the afternoon with the four-man tomorrow. Women's bob will be back in the morning, so all these athletes are going to need to get back to the garage, prep the two-seater sled, then get some food and bed.
Look at this, Alana's start time zone. Hey, all you mothers out there who still want to be an athlete, look at this mother. The only mother in the field.
Not only is she the only mom, she is the oldest athlete in the field as well. 37 years old, mother of one, Alana Myers-Taylor. Start record, track records. Beat that. No, they can't. Brianna Walker, silver. Cynthia Appia, second medal in a row with the bronze. Ahead of Lara Knowlton, Jessica Segova and Melissa Lotholz. Mariama Umanka, best drive in a monobob that we've seen from her, period. And there is your top 20. Well, a few changes around in that, but it was all great entertainment for our sliders and for the fans here. Great to see fans trackside here in Winterberg, and hopefully they'll be entertained again tomorrow. Well, Alana Myers-Taylor ties her own start record. She had equal starts in both runs to set and then match the start record, and drove away from the opposition, coming from just 600ths off the lead in the first heat to take the gold medal by a margin. Alana wins by 23 hundredths. And that's how they finish. She continues to lead our World Series rankings now with 3 wins and a 6th position. And they will race again in Altenburg next week. And well, that is it for Saturday. Sunday morning, join us bright and early for women's bobsleigh. 0900 Central European Time, 0800 GMT, 0300 Eastern. We'll see you then. From John Morgan and the IBS TV crew, I'm Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us. Bye for now. Have a good evening.